All right, everyone, diving in. Getting ready to unpack some interesting research today.
Sounds good.
And this one hits close to home for a lot of us, I think. It's about alcohol and its effects on our health.
Yeah, it's a topic that always seems to be making headlines, right?
It really does. So, whether you enjoy a glass of wine with dinner or you're more the mocktail type,
Right.
we're going to break down some of the latest findings.
Sounds good.
Let's see. Okay, so skimming through the research you sent my way, the main takeaway seems to be that moderate alcohol consumption, especially red wine, might actually offer some health benefits, particularly for our cardiovascular system.
Interesting. Yeah, I've seen some studies pointing in that direction too.
Yeah, and the word resveratrol kept popping up, which honestly, anytime I hear a sciencey word like that,
Right.
I immediately think deep dive. We have to go deeper.
Absolutely. Resveratrol, it's a good one to unpack. And you're right, it's often linked to those potential health benefits, especially for the heart.
So can we start with what does moderate consumption even mean? Because that seems to be really important here.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right? Because it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. It can
Right.
vary from person to person based on a bunch of factors. Your metabolism, how your body processes alcohol, genetics can even play a role.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But generally speaking, for women, moderate drinking is usually defined as up to 1 drink per day.
Okay.
And for men, it's up to 2 drinks per day.
All right.
But again, those are just general guidelines. It's always best to talk to your doctor to get personalized advice because they know your health history best.
Right. Always good to have that personalized advice.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned that resveratrol could have some benefits for our heart. Can we dig into that a little? How does that work?
Yeah, so resveratrol is an antioxidant, and you find it in grapes. So that's where the red wine connection comes in.
Okay, that makes sense.
But it's also found in things like peanuts and berries. But what resveratrol might be doing is increasing our levels of good cholesterol.
Oh, I've heard of good cholesterol versus bad cholesterol.
Exactly. So we want to keep that good cholesterol high, and it also might help reduce those artery clogging plaques.
Plaques, yeah, those aren't good.
No, not good at all. So think of it this way. Imagine your arteries are like highways. We want to keep those highways clear for smooth traffic flow.
Okay, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, and those plaques are like traffic jams that we don't want in our blood vessels. So by potentially increasing the good cholesterol and reducing those plaques, resveratrol could be giving our cardiovascular system a helping hand.
That is fascinating. And you said resveratrol is found in other things besides red wine, like peanuts, berries.
Exactly.
So even if someone's not a drinker, they can still get those benefits.
Exactly. That's the thing. You don't necessarily have to drink red wine to get resveratrol. Incorporating those other foods into your diet can also make a difference.
Okay, good to know. But I have to ask, because the research you sent over was very clear about this. Moderation is key, right? We can't just go overboard on the red wine or peanuts and expect to be invincible.
Exactly. It's not a free pass.
Right. What happens if we ignore that moderation part?
Right. Moderation is key. Because while a little bit of alcohol might have some potential benefits, going overboard can actually tip the scales in the opposite direction and lead to a whole host of health problems. We're talking about an increased risk of certain cancers, liver cancer, breast cancer, even mouth and throat cancer. And then there's the potential for liver damage, pancreatitis, and let's not forget the impact excessive alcohol can have on our mental health.
Yeah, you're right. Our mental health is so important.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that everyone is different, right? What one person considers moderate might be too much for someone else.
So we should probably add a disclaimer here. We are not medical professionals.
Right. This is not medical advice.
Yes. So if any of our listeners have concerns about their alcohol consumption or their overall health, it's always best to talk to a doctor.
Absolutely. They can give you the best advice for your individual situation.
Okay. So as we resurface from this deep dive into alcohol and its impact on our health, I'm left with one major question. If resveratrol is the star player here, could we potentially harness its benefits without involving alcohol at all? What about supplements or focusing on those resveratrol-rich foods?
It's a really interesting thought. There's definitely more research to be done in that area, but it's something to think about.
It really is. And on that note, we'll leave our listeners with that food for thought. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those brains bubbling.